Good evening, everyone. My name is Savan Kumar Arya. I'm a program advisor at Ematicus Learning, Middle East and North Africa region. We would like to welcome a warm welcome to everyone out here. First of all, I hope I am audible. Can someone just confirm if I'm audible?
Yes, Savan, you are audible.
Great, perfect. So once again, would like to welcome all of you over here for this orientation day of the postgraduate program in data science and artificial intelligence with the University of California, Los Angeles Extension. Well, first of all, I would like to welcome each of you one by one. So we have Ms. Hadil from Kuwait, who has more than 20 years of experience in finance and management and banking strategy as well. We have Mr. Mohammed Ashraf, who's a strong professional in the business development engineer and has great knowledge about the data science and artificial intelligence. We have Mr. Elias, who has around 10 years of experience in the supply chain management. He's a dynamic professional from Saudi Arabia. We have Mr. Turki, who has leadership experience and has around 22 years of experience from Oman in the telecom sector. We have Mr. Ali, who is again a very strong professional in the energy sector and has around 11 years of experience in Oman. We have Mr. Abu Bakr, who is a strong academician and has been pursuing masters as well from the LSE Columbia, and the only one from the African region, which is Nigeria. And we are proud to have you, Mr. Abu Bakr. We have Mr. Raj Shekhar, who has around 18 years of experience in the manufacturing, and he's based in UAE right now. We have Ms. Fabi, who's the youngest one of all of us over here right now, and she's a strong academic engineer who has great aspirations related to artificial intelligence and data science. We have Mr. Mahamudur, who has almost 30 years of experience and is working with one of the strongest companies of oil and gas in Kuwait. We have Mr. Majid, who's a software engineer with the Ajman Police, and he has more than 15 years of experience. And we have Mr. Hani as well from Ajman Police, who is a software engineer as well and has around similar 15 years of experience. We're proud to have both of you as well, and the rest of all of you as well. And Mr. Sassan, last but not the least, of course. I think I just got a message over here that my voice is breaking. So just a second, let me just double check. I'm just rebooting my thing. All right, I believe I'm loud and clear by now. And last but not the least, we have Mr. Sassan, who is a strong game developer and has around 10 years of experience as well and is based in UAE right now. So let me just highlight this and emphasize on this statement that you guys have made this possible. And we are proud to have all of you registered for this wonderful journey, which is for 8.5 months. And we are sure that you will be getting the best of the best from the best during this course and will do the best after this course. So a small applause or a big applause for all of us over here and to yourself as well. Now I would like to thank you so much who has just applauded over here. Great. And we have now Mr. Suresh Rao, who's the Executive Director and the COO for Ematicus Learning with Asia and the Middle East North African region. He's the backbone of the Ematicus Learning, and it's his vision that we are all here right now with each other during this session. So please welcome Mr. Suresh Rao.
Thank you, Savan. Good evening, everyone. I guess we are absolutely privileged and excited that we are starting the journey of data science and artificial intelligence with our partners in the UCLA extension. And we're super excited about the learning outcomes that we all will collectively achieve basis the variety of experiences that this particular cohort is coming together for, right? So I guess typically whenever we go to a management school, college, we always expect what kind of cohorts we will have, what kind of participants we will have, and I think the diversity in terms of the batch, the participant experience, the industry experience, and for that matter, even qualification, actually makes the learning journeys a lot more exciting. With that, I guess again, welcome you all to this exciting journey of learning, and we are proud to be partners with UCLA Extension. We have our colleagues from UCLA Extension, Dennis and Sam, who will walk you through some of the specifics in terms of how this program will be run through, especially from a UCLA Extension, and how does the entire bridge course that will work from Emarticus, and importantly, post UCLA Extension as well. I guess most of you are in this program for, I think, variety of reasons. I'm sure one of them is that the future of data science and AI, it's no longer a fad. It's almost like a part of our lives that we will see on a day-to-day basis. And I guess I think still a lot of when we talk to a lot of corporates across the region in Middle East, North Africa, specifically on Southeast Asia as well, including Singapore, which is also a front runner in terms of the AI. We have seen that it's unimaginable in the way that the data science, AI, the overall ML space is going to kind of transform the journey and our own employment over the next few years down the line. I'm sure you guys have invested time and money, and we have to invest to the best that you get from overall content, overall faculty, and more importantly, overall experiential learning is what is that you just don't learn conceptually, but you kind of do experiential learning, which you on a day-to-day basis will be able to apply or at least comprehend as we kind of move forward. So that's the first slide. I mean, if someone whoever is controlling the, I guess it's important to understand, where we are coming from and what's our vision going to be. We are very proud with the fact that we want to be a game changer in the Middle East, North Africa for a variety of reasons. We believe that the governments of each of those countries, private companies, public sector companies, are putting a lot of investment in this particular space. I think for some industries, it's a start. Some industries have progressed really well. And I guess importantly, I think government and the overall skill space is taking a huge flip. So from a Marticus perspective, we've been in this space for the last 9 years. We've done extremely well in terms of job employability across the skill sets. And we want to make sure that with a single biggest focus is all of us collectively learn together. And importantly, your individual aspirations are well met in terms of whatever industries that you would participate in. So from my Emarticus perspective, as I said, we are proud that we are able to build this human capital within the region. Moving on to the next one, Savan, or yeah. So and the reason why I think some of you guys may have been part of some of the orientation in some way or the other before the enrollment, but I think from a Emarticus perspective, you should understand that what do we bring to the table. One, we have a diversified portfolio across each segment. Within the segment, we build specific case studies, simulations basis what the domain is, what kind of industry that we participate. And very importantly, we contextualize those learnings into real world scenarios. So I think over a period of program, you would understand that not only you will learn the tools, the techniques that is required, which is anyways the case, but how do you apply those on a real world basis? So some of you guys may be coming from the banking sector, some of you guys must be coming from a medical or a logistics space. And I think how do you apply those concepts in each of the industries that you come through? The great part is that we've got some fantastic facilitators who are not just good in their domain or the data analytics. I think what they will be able to bring you is the diversified industry experiences that they have, and not just specific to one particular industry. So that's a diversified portfolio that we want to bring to the table. Moving on to the next one. In terms of clients, as I said, we have all kinds of clients: consulting companies, technology companies, banking companies, for that matter, oil and gas, and primarily a lot of consulting IT services that you see. From a Middle East perspective, we work with various banking and financial services companies, and in our own conversations with senior folks in the industry, there is a huge investment that's coming into AI/ML, and I'm sure that we're confident that with the amount of talent that Middle East region requires, there is a huge gap. So its idea is, do we collectively learn together, apply together, and in our own network present you some of the opportunities that will come automatically, not because you have a certificate, not just because you have a degree. You are able to get these opportunities because the know-how that you will get is absolutely measurable. And that's something that we are very focused on. Again, the credibility is there in all of the slides that we talked about, but this is one of the biggest one is in terms of what kind of clientele that we access across the region. In terms of going to the next one, as our domain expertise in the space, but if you look at data science, analytics, and AI, it is industry agnostic. When I say what I say is AI/ML is applicable to banking, to across various industries. However, the use cases could be different, the techniques could be different, but I think the overall framework remains the same. Overall foundation remains the same. So this curriculum has been designed, for example, I mean, back to our college days, you would be taught 7, 8 subjects, but maybe you would be strong on 2 or 3 out of the overall 7. But the idea is that you should get exposed to all the 7. Only then you'll understand what are your top 2 or 3 strong points are. So the idea is that we, again, from an analytics and data science perspective, again, through UCLA extension, the kind of modules that they're going to bring in, and post that, what kind of modules that we will bring in. And I'm sure that it is industry agnostic, irrespective of what kind of qualification you may have, what kind of technical blend you may have, or you may not even have a technical blend. But how do you seamlessly integrate to the program is some of the things that we will have to collectively work on. Moving on to the next space. It's again, I think more from a program perspective. I think some of you guys may have seen or may have not seen this before. Again, we are superbly proud in terms of UCLA extension, as I'm sure Dennis and Sam would do great honors in terms of talking about UCLA. But I think we are fortunate that one of the top 50 public universities they are the top 50 ranked, and the idea of us coming together is we believe that there is a severe talent gap in the Middle East market. That's number one. And some of our programs that we see in that region, I don't think it's as specific as we are able to build in. And that gives us a confidence that it's a lot more comprehensive. Yes, there is a reasonable amount of study time we all expect, but I think that's always the investment of time. If you have invested money, I'm assuming that there is a considerable amount of investment that we would require in terms of time, so that the application of what we learn together is absolutely expected on the lines, right? So right from master data science, machine learning, AI, you would get a gold seal certificate. Again, that's something that our colleagues from UCLA Extension will give you a lot more insights on. But we are absolutely certain from a career services, we are very excited with some of the companies that we have already spoken to, that there's a cohort coming in. And I'm sure there is some great potential that we would see in the next few months to a year. Moving on to the next one, Savan. So again, I think in terms of sample study plan, I think gone are the days where you will always have 100% instructor-led. The idea of a self-learning is to bring a little bit of discipline to all of us, number one. Number two, when there's a self-learning, it doesn't mean that those sessions that you have learned, if you have doubts, it cannot be answered. The idea of a self-learning is you try to comprehend yourself how much you understood out of that matter. And if there are questions, there would always be refresher sessions so that the reference point to the self-learning is well made. So you don't start at zero when we do our instructor-led. you may start at number 3 or number 4. Some of you guys may start at number 5. But the idea is that you have refresher sessions, doubt clearing sessions periodically in the entire life cycle of this program. And it's our endeavor to make sure that you are able to cope up with that space, right? And it's important that both of us being very transparent about the entire life journey. At the same time, given that you have invested on us, we would also invest on you in terms of discipline, in terms of assessment, in terms of case studies. So our framework is self-paced to an extent, instructor training to the larger degree. More importantly is in-class projects, assignments, case studies, which is more application-oriented based. So it's not conceptual, it's not just theoretical, it's more context-based. So that's something that is our DNA of the overall Emarticus framework. Sorry, go back. Whoever is doing that. Ram, yeah. And importantly is the form assignments. I know some of you guys may be superbly busy in terms of your day-to-day work. We will be flexible wherever we can, but it's also important that we are going as for the timelines for the overall program. So there would be some home assignments, but I think it's for the larger good that if we've invested time, we invested money, I think it's important that we invest on the discipline space. Is we would like all our cohorts to help get assignments done periodically, and I'm sure there would be enough and more mentoring that would happen in case you're getting stuck in any of those assignments. So that's the overall framework. Moving on to the next one, it's important that we say that what is this for? It's AI and ML for everyone. That's our objective. You may be a functional expert, you may be a technical expert, you may be a non-technical person, but the idea of AI ML is for everyone. Some of you guys may be very good in coding, some of you guys will not be very good in coding, but the people who are not good in coding, they are better at contextualizing the overall business problem better and able to give solutions to that space. So the idea is this is a program which is capturing both the audience to a larger extent. The idea is it's for everyone. Very importantly, some of the decisions that would happen in terms of case studies or projects, it's going to be a data-driven decisions. And I'm sure there's a sense of logic, there's a sense of analysis. Some of my colleagues, who's a senior data scientist, we are going to introduce him over a period of time in the next few minutes, is he would say that there is no right answer or wrong answer in data analytics. It's about how you perceive and what is your strongest defense or offense on that particular space, right? That's something. And very importantly, I know some of you guys will be super passionate in terms of building AI products and services. So the idea is, how do you build that? It's, of course, you need to know the subject matter, and that's exactly what we're trying to come to. So that's basically to deliver absolutely digital transformation in its overall entirety, and AI, ML, data science being the crux of the overall space. And that's exactly what we're trying to achieve collectively as part of this program. Moving on to the next one. Before, of course, the pedagogy I've already kind of touched upon. We are, again, as I said, we are super proud in terms of our partners within the UCLA extension. We talked about projects, we talked about assignments, we talked about this, and very importantly, at a stage over the 6 months to 8 months, we would also introduce some hackathons or capstone projects. As you know that some of our companies, there are hackathon which is on open source, which is also happening in public platforms. So we would like to bring that hackathon over a period of time. Again, that's something post 6 months, and we want to make sure that we are ready for those kind of hackathons. That's something that we would do. And we are also super clear in terms of placement preparation workshops. I'm sure some of you guys may like to get into the field of AI, ML, data science, depending upon what kind of space that you want to get in. And our team is superbly well networked across the space, and that's something that we are very confident that we absolutely want you to prep in the spaces of AI, ML jobs that would exist in the market, data analytics in its overall entirety. That's like a pedagogy. Moving on to the next one. Again, this is just the kind of case studies that you may get exposed over the next few months. Again, it's not limited to a particular sector, industry, it's across the board. And we want to make sure that the repository is given to you because let's say one of you guys are interested into one particular case study. We want you to kind of build that case study, and our expert faculties and mentors would help you build that out. So that's the overall case study by function. If you go to the next slide, and there's enough and more that you will be exposed in each of the modules that we will get into, right? Moving on to the next one, this is where I like to introduce Dennis and Sam. Of course, Dennis to start with, where Dennis and team will present you in terms of UCLA extension, what do you expect out of them, and how the entire program will be run, and how the overall partnership will fructify so that you have a very seamless experience from both of us as two different entities coming together and building one particular program for you all. So Dennis, I hope you're there, and it would be great to introduce yourself and importantly UCLA extension, and more importantly is why this program that we brought to the region with Immortus.
Wonderful. Thank you, Suresh, for the introduction. Again, my name is Denis Couturier. I'm the director of UCLA Extension Custom Programs and Corporate Education Department. It is a pleasure to be here on behalf of the University of California in Los Angeles to welcome you to this certificate programs offered in collaboration with our partner, Immortus. We're very excited to launch this initiative. Sam, would you, or who's next slide, please? Next one. Do you want to play the video, or do you want me to just jump in directly to introduce UCLA and UCLA Extension?
Dennis, I think some introduction from yourself will be great, and of course we can do a short video. That's okay with you.
Yes. So let's start with the video, and then I'll continue with my introduction.
Perfect. Perfect. Ram, go ahead. Ram, the audio is not coming in, so can you just check that out, please?
Ram, you may have to unmute yourself.
Yes, just give me a minute.
No problem.
Ram is still not coming in. So
We are scholars.
okay, yeah, that's perfect.
Is it coming?
Yes.
Yes, please go ahead.
Innovators, visionaries. We are career changers, daydreamers, go-getters. We're idealists, artists, and optimists. We have a 100-year legacy of taking the unconventional path, the road less traveled. We know that you don't have to be a student to study. You don't have to be of a particular age, income, or background to gain an education. Because we know that knowledge is for everyone, and that education improves people's lives and makes communities stronger. We try and stumble, and then we try again, because we know that there are many paths to success, and we are defining our own goals and charting our own course. We go into the unknown to challenge ourselves. We don't accept the status quo. And wherever we go confidently because we are not limited by boundaries or fears. We know that no matter what the obstacle is, we keep rising. We know that the future is bright and that the possibilities are vast and immeasurable because we will make it that way. We dare to try, dare to make our own path, dare to push the limits. We dare to dream. We are here to discover, invent, change, create. We are here to cross boundaries, to do new things, to do what others said couldn't be done. We are here to change our lives, better our families. We are here to nurture the spark, to grow as we reach toward infinite possibilities. We are here because we accept the challenge to make the world better. We are UCLA Extension.
Thank you so much. If you can switch to the next slide, please. So first of all, one thing that I want to mention is today I noticed that most of you have their camera off, which is fine. Please, when you have live session with our instructor, the expectation is that you will be able to turn your camera on. I feel that is the best way to engage with the instructor. So just a little notice. So first of all, what I want to address is what is UCLA? So if you're not familiar with it, UCLA stands for the University of California in Los Angeles. And it's a public system, the University of California, with 10 campuses across the California state, which is on the west coast of the US. UCLA is the second oldest and the largest campus from the UC system, but other campuses that you might be familiar with include UC Berkeley, UC San Diego, UC Santa Barbara, Irvine, Riverside, and others. So we are a research institute. So we're teaching from bachelor degree up to PhD. We also do a lot of cutting edge research in many different fields. And we are very proud because earlier this week, UCLA was named #1 public university in the US, according to US News and World Report for the 5th year in a row. So that's an amazing accomplishment. So we're extremely proud of that accomplishment. And we're also ranked #13 best global university. I see someone say, congrats, thank you. You're part of it, so congrats to you as well. And UCLA is also the most applied to university for undergrad and for undergraduate studies. So that means that if you hear about like Harvard, Stanford, the Ivy school universities, UCLA received more applications than any of these schools. So it's a very well-established, very well-renowned university. We're also known for our outstanding professors. And one example that I always like to share is last year, the Nobel Prize of Physics was one of our faculty, and she was actually only the 3rd woman to win the Nobel Prize of Physics. So that's just one among many of our faculty and instructors. We also have famous sports teams. So if you're watching American football, basketball, you might have heard about the Bruins. So that's our sport teams at UCLA. And we also have alumni from different areas. We have NBA star, we have Oscar nominees, we have CEOs from large and small companies. So we're extremely proud of our alumni. And part of this program, one of the benefit, I'll touch base on this a little bit later, but one of the benefit of the program is that you will be part of the UCLA Alumni Association, just as any students who are completing either a bachelor, undergrad, or a graduate degree at UCLA. So that's a real way to connect with leaders from around the world, because our alumni, of course, we have many that are in Los Angeles in the US, but they're also across the world. Next slide, please. Often people are familiar with UCLA, but not necessarily with UCLA Extension. So I always like to say a few words specifically about UCLA Extension. So UCLA Extension is the School of Continuing and Professional Education at UCLA. So we are part of UCLA just as other schools on campus. Being such a big campus with approximately 30,000 undergraduate students, 12,000 graduate students, and 35 adult learners, not 35, 35,000 adult learners at UCLA Extension. We have multiple schools. So we have the School of Business, the School of Engineering, and the School of Medicine, etc. And UCLA Extension is part of the UCLA campus as well. The main difference is that we focus on adult learners. So most of our students are people like you. When I was hearing like an acknowledgement of your background, I was very pleased to hear that you're coming from different backgrounds, but that you also have a lot of expertise. So that's very exciting. And that's usually the type of students that we serve at UCLA Extension. One thing to keep in mind also is that in this case, all the courses will be offered online, and the instructor will be industry experts. So at UCLA Extension, we hired people that work full-time in the field and teach part-time at UCLA because they're passionate and they want to share their knowledge and their expertise with the student. So you'll have a very practical knowledge, and our goal is that you can put in practice immediately in your job what you're learning with our instructors. Also, our instructor really want to engage with you as much as they can. So they always welcome questions. If you want to have specific case studies from different industries, let them know in advance. They always love to engage with the students. And I feel that like more you're involved, more time you're spending in your courses, more you'll get from your certificate at UCLA Extension. One thing that I didn't mention is that we work in close collaboration with the schools on campus to approve the course curriculum, the learning objective, and the instructors. So in this case, since it's a data science program, we work with computer science at the School of Engineering to review and approve the curriculum. So that gives you like the guarantee that you can expect like the best quality from our program. Just some facts and a figure. As I mentioned, at UCLA Extension, we have 35,000 students annually. Most of them are adult learners just like you. So many of them are studying part-time because they have family and professional responsibilities, but they want to advance their career, probably just like you're doing. And we also have some students that want to explore a new career path. So maybe you have experience in finance world and you want to pivot your career and have more like data science background, you will be able to do it through this certificate program. At UCLA Extension, we're offering credit-bearing courses, but we're not offering degree programs. We're not offering traditional bachelor and master. We focus on certificate programs, and we're offering over 180 certificate programs in different areas. Our biggest portfolio are in business management and legal programs. Since we're in Los Angeles, the capital of entertainment, we also have a lot of courses in arts and entertainment. And then it's followed by engineering and digital technology, where you'll be studying. And we also have Humanities and Sciences, Education, and American Language Center, etc. So that will be a very exciting experience for you. And we really look forward to hear about your experience and your feedback in the class when you start engaging with our instructors. Next slide, please. So some of the program benefits. So that's very unique that we work with Emarticus. We have been working with them. It's the first cohort for the data science certificate, but we have been working with them for about 2 years on different programs, some in the area of data science. So we're very excited to expand our collaboration with this cohort. And what you have, it's kind of unique because you have some components that are provided by Emarticus, but you also go through UCLA Extension approved certificate in data science. What is the main reason to do that is we want to make sure that you're ready for the next chapter of your career. And also that allows you to join, as I mentioned, the UCLA Alumni Association. And that's an amazing way to network with people. Also, as I mentioned, all our instructors are industry experts, so they are very well connected. So that can be a great way for you to expand your network in Los Angeles. But also it seems that we have like participants with amazing backgrounds. So just among the participants, just being able to grow your network, that will be an amazing experience for you. Of course, being able to add UCLA name to your resume, that will be something that will help you to advance your career, will open doors for you. UCLA is a great name, well respected. So hopefully that will help you in your next endeavor. And as I mentioned, our courses are very practical, but it's also like academically very rigorous programs. One thing also that we're very proud at UCLA Extensions is that we're offering alternative and affordable options for non-traditional students. In the US, tuition can be extremely expensive, but through this partnership and also in general at UCLA Extension, we want to make our programs available to as many people as possible because we really believe in the power of education to change lives. So that's kind of conclude my short presentation. One thing that I want to highlight is that we're seeing increasing demand from our corporate partners because we also go to different companies to train their employees. And we see increasing demands for training employees for big corporations in the area of data science. So I think that you really made a great decision in enrolling in this certificate. And also same thing for open enrollment courses. Those data science is one of the certificate that is among the most popular one at UCLA Extension. So again, welcome to the UCLA family. I hope you will have an amazing experience. My colleague Sam will introduce himself. We'll talk a little bit more about the program, and he will also remain your point of contact for the entire program. So at any time, if you have any questions, we're here to support you. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. And we also love to stay in touch with our students. So if you want to connect through LinkedIn or by email, we always hear to love about your experience and when you graduate, what you're able to do with your certificate and how you're able to advance your career. Thank you so much. And I think Sam will speak a little bit more about the program.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Denis, and thanks Suresh and team for bringing us all together for this collaboration. Like Denis said, my name is Sam Trevino. I'm the program representative for UCLA Extension Custom Programs and Corporate Education. So basically my role is to make sure that I can oversee all the implementation and management of the logistics of a lot of our programs in our portfolio, this program included. So I just want to give you a little more detail specifically about the certificate program and what the requirements are, sort of how you'll be going through interacting day to day and all of that. So a little bit about the overview. The requirements for this certificate are pretty straightforward. What you're going to be doing interspersed throughout the overall PG program with Amarticus is completing 4 hybrid online courses with UCLA Extension. Each of the courses are 5 weeks long, and they're both instructor-led and self-paced modules, as Suresh was mentioning earlier. There'll be sort of 1 of each per week in each course. And there's going to be plenty of different types of assignments, readings, videos, individual group projects, and all of that for you to complete as well. Those will be required in all of the courses. You do need to maintain a minimum of 2.0 GPA across all courses in the certificate to be eligible to complete. That equals out to a letter grade of C in each course. And you're also required to attend at least 80% of each of the course's live sessions. Upon completion of the certificate, you'll receive the UCLA Gold Seal certificate, as mentioned earlier, as well as a record of participation for the UCLA portion of this program. You'll be eligible for membership in the Alumni Association, and you'll have a network in data science to keep in touch with in the future. Next slide, please. So just a little bit about each of our instructors for the courses. In the intro course, we have Dr. Bruce Wong, who actually helped create the data science certificate program. He teaches also for the School of Engineering at UCLA, and his course will kind of cover a statistical thinking background for data science, as well as some foundational topics for the other courses that you take later. For the second course, we have Dr. Bianca Kung. She's actually a UCLA alum, and she also teaches at UC Irvine as well, another campus. Her course is going to be covering visualization. She'll be using graphic tools and software, emphasizing understanding how to create visualizations with data. Joshua Cook, he's also UCLA alum. He'll be teaching our third course in big data management. He's a longtime public educator in the LA area. He also has done a lot of jobs as an engineering manager in the private sector. He brings a lot of really great industry expertise. And his course kind of includes a lot of big data tools and study of industry applications. And then in your final course, the machine learning course, we'll have Dr. William Yu. He actually also teaches for the UCLA Anderson Graduate School of Management. So that's our School of Business on campus. And his work focuses on the intersection of economics and data analytics. It's really, really interesting if you want to look him up. And his course is going to include a lot of different case studies and how to analyze different machine learning models to solve problems. Next slide, please. So the course schedule and format for this program is pretty straightforward as well. You're going to take each course in order as they're listed here. You've got the dates here, and we'll also be sending you the schedule in advance of the program. The live sessions for the program will generally begin the second day of each course. So the first day, you'll get a course announcement and an introduction. And then the second day, you'll meet your instructor in the live session, the instructor-led session. And then usually right after that, one of the self-paced modules will open up for you to complete throughout the week. You'll also be able to contact the instructor at any point during that time while you're going over all the materials. The live sessions are going to be held on Saturday mornings generally in the US, so that'll be evening your time. But the time and date might vary slightly based on instructor availability. Of course, they'll let you know in advance. All of the instructors will be in touch with everybody throughout each course. You'll be able to contact them in a few different ways. So no worries on that. It's just, always back and forth with that kind of stuff with availability. But usually the schedule will remain the same, and you'll be, Saturdays doing all of your live sessions, and then throughout the week, you'll be doing the modules. If you're not able to attend a live session, you have a conflict in advance, you have questions about what was gone over in the live session or what you might need to do for the next one, always feel free to contact the instructor. The format of the US learning model is very interactive. You'll be doing a lot of discussions as well as watching video resources and lectures, but the instructors are really, as mentioned before, they're industry experts. they're teaching part-time at UCLA because they're very passionate about teaching other people. They really want to be interacting with everybody. It's a great opportunity also to network with them, ask them about their experience, even if it's outside the course content for that week. So just make sure that you're always in contact with them if you ever need anything. It's not a big deal just to send them a message and say, hey, are you able to help me out and be flexible with this? We all understand that everybody has other responsibilities as adult learners. So just make sure that you're always staying in contact with them. We can go to the next slide. So I just wanted to point out a little bit of the distinction between the two systems that you'll be using for all the UCLA courses. One of them is our learning management system, or LMS, which is called Canvas. The other one is our UCLA Extension student portal. So they're two separate systems. On Canvas, on the LMS, you'll be going in every day and then reviewing all of your course material. That's the place where you're going to be able to access your assignments, your instructor contact info, all of your grades, all of the Zoom meeting links for all of the instructor-led live sessions, any announcements about the course, and pretty much every piece of information from the course is contained in the learning management system. You've got the login information right there. And then the student portal is more of like an administrative account. It has your student profile. You can access your course history, your administrative information. You can update all of your contact info. And usually whenever you need to review anything for your previous courses, you'll log into that. So those are going to be two separate systems. Canvas you'll use every day. Student portal you'll only use every so often, but you need to have both of them set up in order to be successful in the course. And I think if you want to do a quick demo, I'm not sure if I can share my screen, but if that's something you're interested in, I can sort of show just a couple minutes in the LMS to show everybody how it looks.
Definitely that would help, Sam.
Perfect.
You might have to give him the sharing rights, Mr. Ram.
Yeah, it looks like I don't have the ability, but I've got it ready to go. All right, there we go.
So let me just stop my sharing. Yeah.
Try now.
All right, perfect. Is everyone able to see that? Awesome. So
Yes.
the login screen is pretty simple. I've got a profile here and I'll just take you through a demo of a previous data science course. So when you first log in, you're going to have to click the forget password notification that was right there on the screen. That's how you set up a new password. So as new students, everybody will set that up, and then you'll just save your password and log in each time. You'll be brought to your dashboard right when you log in, which will have all of the courses that you're a part of. So I'm going to just show this data science course as an example. Click into the student view to let you know what you'll be able to see. So this is pretty typical. It's pretty accurate to what you're going to see whenever you first log into the course. There'll be a home page. Some instructors will list announcements. Other instructors might not have anything on here, but you'll always have this secondary menu on the side, which has all of the course options, as well as the main navigation menu, which has all of the options for your LMS. There's a calendar function if you want to use that. There's an inbox function to contact myself as well as the instructors. There's going back to your dashboard and your account. And then if you go to the announcement section in the course menu, you'll get to see all of the announcements that are provided by each instructor. Sometimes I'll also be posting announcements as the program representative if there's any administrative information you need to go over. If you go down from there, each course is going to have a different course syllabus. So this is important because all of the things that you need to do in the course description, as well as the outcomes are always going to be listed in the syllabus. They might also be listed in one of the other modules outside, depending on what the instructor chooses to do in the LMS. So you'll get sort of a sense of what you're going to be doing throughout the course here, as well as all of our institutional policies and all of the information about evaluation and grading. You also have some support links in each syllabus here below, which I'll be sending you those as well as a reminder. But it's a great section, it's a great resource of this LMS, and you can just always click into it whenever you need to see sort of the big course overview, as well as all of the requirements that the instructor has per course, because they're always going to be different depending on your instructor. If you go from there, there's a section on the course modules. So this is sort of a fully built out course. This is kind of what it will look like towards the end. But in the beginning, you might only see like one introductory module or maybe the first week's module, but you'll always be able to navigate through all of the course materials here. So any assignments, any video lectures, you know, any kind of readings or external resources that the instructor wants you to participate in, they're all going to be over here. You're just going to have a main module header, and then this is where all the information is going to be. So again, pretty straightforward. But this will probably be the page that you're in every single day of the course as you're studying. Just all of the information is going to be there. You're also able to click into the grades section to see whether you've been able to submit an assignment, whether you've been scored on an assignment, what your grade is to the point that the instructor has graded, and eventually what your final grade is going to be. And then if you go down from there, you'll see the Zoom section. So there aren't any meetings scheduled since this is a previous course, but usually there's going to be a menu that populates with all of the Zoom meetings that you need for the live instructor-led sessions. That's where you'll go for that. And then in case an instructor records a session, you'll be able to find it in the video section here. The instructors are not required to record any sessions, but as a participant in the program, you're always free to ask them, especially if you're not able to attend, say, you know, are you willing to record, or would you record maybe one or two of them? That's sort of a conversation between instructors and students to come to an agreement about recording a live session. But if you need to find the recording, it'll be right in that folder. And other menu items might pop up here occasionally if an instructor adds a different type of assignment or file or link, but normally those are the main headers that appear for you. And that's pretty much how you'll navigate your course throughout the time that you're studying. So I think that's the end of the demo. I'll just stop sharing my screen and we can go to the next slide.
Thanks, Sam. Just share it over.
All right, so lastly, I just wanted to touch on a couple of resources for everybody, sort of continuing on from the course format. I'll be sending out an introductory and closing course announcement with reminders about logistical and administrative information for every course that you're in, so all 4 of them. There's going to be a week-long gap in between each of them. So you'll probably be hearing from me at least a couple times a month, if not more, if you want to be in contact further. I'll be available throughout the entire program, as Denis and Suresh mentioned, during regular business hours in Los Angeles between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. For any administrative questions or advisement regarding the course or the certificate, any other questions related to UCLA. I'm sort of your main point of contact. I'll be with you throughout the whole way. So just let me know if you have any questions, even if it's not at the beginning and if it's in the middle, even if you just need to help find information or contact an instructor or something like that. Don't worry and don't hesitate to send me a message. And then I just listed some of the contact information here for UCLA's side, just in case anybody wants to take this down. Got my contact information there. I'm also contactable via the Canvas inbox that we just saw. And the alternative contact info for our department, we have a shared inbox at this email address. So anytime that if I'm not responsive, if I have a planned absence throughout the program or anything like that, or if you need to get a hold of somebody who works on our team, everybody is accessible through that link. And if you ever have any issues with the LMS, if you're having trouble with Canvas logging in, setting up your password, I'm of course available to help out, but we also have an instructional design support team that helps with those issues as well. So you've got their email address there too. The last thing that I'll mention is just that I'll be sending out, after we get everybody enrolled in the course, just an overview announcement for the entire program in case you don't have the ability to copy this info down, or you missed something in this presentation, don't worry, it'll all be in an email that we'll be sending out to all of the participants before the UCLA courses start. So you'll have that information accessible and you'll be able to log into your course and get everything situated by the time it starts. And I think that is it for the UCLA side. So if anybody has questions, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll hand it back over to Suresh.
Sure, Sam. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes. If there are any questions from anyone, you can either raise your hand or drop a note in the chat, or you can speak over the phone. Okay, we will. I'm sure when the absolute session starts with UCLA, I'm sure you will kind of get to know a lot more. But I guess if there's nothing else, so I guess again, thank you so much, Dennis. Thank you so much, Sam. I guess the very aspect of UCLA and UCLA Extension being the premier institution in US, I'm hoping that the entire cohorts are feeling proud in the terms of they being part of this cohort and the program. Like I said, the excitement is going to be there, and I'm sure with the excitement we would have a strong commitment to make sure the overall learning journeys are well received. Again, thank you so much, Dennis. Thanks, Sam, as usual, for your continued support, and I'm sure this is going to be a great journey for all of us. So with that, Savan, would you
Yes.
take it back? Thank you.
Definitely. Once again, thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Sam. So yes, Mr. Samuel will be communicating with all of you in the next couple of days, and to provide you the LMS access for the UCLA extension and also the schedule part as well. So now we are at a point where I would like to welcome Mr. Chinmay also. I would like to introduce him to you. So Mr. Chinmay Naveen is a data science professional at a director level at one of the top 20 companies to work with. And he's the visiting faculty and at Ematicus Learning and many engineering plus business colleges. Mr. Chinmay is going to train you the Python programming module, which is the prep module, because definitely some people are coming from the non-programming background. So that's the program we start tomorrow, 17th of September, 5 o'clock UAE time. So a couple of days, that means Friday and Saturday, and then the next week as well, the same thing, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. And I hope everybody has received the schedule already. So Mr. Chinmay Naveen, who has a master's in, who has a dual master's in IT and statistics by education and has conducted more than the 1,500 data science trainings, is the one who's going to teach you the prep module. So I am very excited for this on my part, and I'm sure that you will have a great training and the great start, the best foundation that you can get for this 8.5 months journey of data science and artificial intelligence and machine learning. Great. So I would like to also now talk about Dr. Anshuman Ghosh, who's basically the guest lecturer today. We have a message from Mr. Mahmudur in between that hope to have a successful completion for all on this journey. Definitely, Mr. Mahmudur, we will definitely have that. Now, Dr. Anshuman Ghosh, who's basically a data science head at one of the top companies, which is Sony, and is also a tech council member of Forbes. He has been training at as a professor at IIT. Those who don't know, IIT is one of the top colleges in the world. It's called as Indian Institute of Technology, and similarly IIM, which is Indian Institute of Management, which are actually the top global colleges, and XLRI at the same time. So he has worked with many companies, and Sony is the current company he's working with right now. Dr. Anshuman, all over to you right now on this special occasion of the opening ceremony for you to go ahead with the data science scope and introduction. Great.
Thank you, Savan, and I would like to thank Ematicus and also UCLA Extension, as well as Mr. Suresh and Nam for giving me the opportunity to interact with your students. So it's a great privilege. And I'll take this opportunity probably to, share some brief introduction about data science and some of the things that are going on and the skills that probably people should learn in your session. So if you kindly allow me, probably I would like to share a few slides.
Yeah, Mr. Dr. Anshuman, before you start, I think I just want to say two lines, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, dear all participants, and I think the endeavor of Imarticus and UCL Extension is, we would bring someone with a deep expertise like Mr. Chinmay, who's helping us through the facilitation of sessions. At the same time, Dr. Anshuman, who would conduct these kind of guest lectures. The idea of these sessions, a quick 30 minutes to 1 hour sessions, is to give you perspectives of data science, AI, ML, and importantly, the applicability of that. And I think these guest lectures is what we call as a term, we would do on a monthly basis. And we would bring variety of experts across various spectrums so that it's important that you get perspectives. And we are thrilled that Dr. Anshuman has helped us volunteer to be part of this guest lecture. I hope it's quite insightful for everyone. Thank you. Dr. Anshuman, all yours.
Thank you. So can anyone confirm if they are able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I think someone has already given the introduction, so I'll not get much into that. So overall, I have been working in the data science field for more than a decade. And currently, as you mentioned, I'm heading data science for Sony R&D in India. And earlier I worked for Disney, Target, Grab, both Fortune 100 as well as startup companies. So before I start the discussion on data science, I want to probably quote a couple of articles. I'm sure probably some of you have seen it, but still these are very interesting to know. So nowadays, I think data science has become very popular and so many people want to get into data science or big data machine learning. But the fact is that even 10 years back, it was not so big, right? And this is one of the very important article. I'm not sure whether it's fully visible or not, but this came in 2012 in Harvard Business Review. Uh, Most of you will know it is one of the most top business publications in the world. And that article title was Data Scientist, the sexiest job of 21st century. And this article was written by someone who was the head of a data science department at US government. And this is one of the article which made it more popular for the public or for the general audience. So probably before that, a lot of people are doing in their company, but this article and following that, lot of other media focus made it very popular to the general public. And in last 7-8 years, it has become one of the top career. As you can see on the right side article, this is an article I've taken from Forbes, which is one of the top business journals or magazines. So which says that data scientist has been ranked one of the top jobs in America in 2009. Not just in 2009, for even 3-4 years before that, it was ranked one of the top jobs in US and globally. So even in India and other countries like Middle East, Africa, different areas, I think data science is becoming very big. And definitely, if not now, within 1-2 years, it will become a very big lucrative field in terms of salary as well as career growth, also the business impact. Now something very interesting happened, right? So we had so many different models or algorithms even before data science became popular. So if you probably in later courses read something about deep learning or neural network or some of the complex models, they were there in 1970s, 80s, 90s also. But at that time we did not see data science becoming so big. So in my mind, there are 4 key trends why data science became very big. So I'll just probably highlight them in a simple manner for all of you. So first, but not the least, is data. Because if I remember correctly, even 10 years back, to collect some data from users, we had to conduct market research. We had to do interviews, survey, and even after that, we can collect data for 10 people, 20 people, 100 people. But at present, we have massive amount of data. Why this has happened? One of the biggest reason is, of course, digital transformation. Most of the industries has become digital. One of the biggest example may be e-commerce. So all of us know about Amazon. I'm sure in Middle East and those areas also there are a lot of probably e-commerce platform which has become big. So people are shopping online. So you can capture a lot of data. At the same time, we have social media website like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, where people are sharing a lot of data. Uh, Over the last 10 years or so, everybody is using mobile phones, smartphones. So when you are using smartphone, installing some app, this leads to massive data generation, and that data we can now also store in a very efficient manner. At one point of time, we used 1.44 MB floppy drive to store data, but now I assume all of us have terabytes of hard disk, and if you go to Google Cloud, probably you can have unlimited storage at a very cheap cost. Similarly, for businesses also, we have Amazon Web Services or Microsoft Azure, where you can have massive terabytes and petabytes of storage. And similar to storage, we can have massive processing, right? Even our mobile phones nowadays, in fact, some time back, I was just trying out running some computer vision or image recognition algorithm, and I can run it now on my mobile. Given that mobile, the chip or the processing has become so fast and powerful, so which is amazing, right? So we have seen massive growth in terms of storage and processing. And last, which is also very important, and I'm sure as Mr. Suresh mentioned that you'll have those courses on Python or R or some of the tools. So at one point of time when you wanted to do data science, you needed to get probably a costly mainframe computer. In terms of tool, you have to buy a license of Tableau or SAS. But now with Python and R and many open source tools, and even for deep learning, we have tools like TensorFlow, which are again open source. You can download this tool. So if you want to learn Python, you can download it, install it, do the courses from Imarticus and UCLA, and then start practicing it, and you can use in your company or for your personal use. So we have massive amount of data, we have very fast processing, we have massive storage at a very cheap cost, and we have free tools. So there is no reason that any company, big or small, should not use data science anymore, right? So you can start using it virtually at zero cost. Of course, you have to learn some of the things, you have to put some time and effort, but there is no blocker in terms of the technology or in terms of the cost. So these are some of the broad reasons why data science has become popular. I also wanted to highlight a little bit on, like, when we are talking about data science or analytics, it is not always same, and we should not jump into creating a complex model. We should follow, I'm sure, as I was hearing the introduction in the beginning, that most of the participants are very experienced people. They have a lot of knowledge in their industry, and they are facing some genuine business problem, which probably they want to solve with data science. So when you're trying to do that, it's probably better not to jump into a complex model or a deep learning thing in the beginning. So if some company or individual is starting their data science journey, I would probably recommend going into these 4 steps one by one. So first, you should understand your business, what data is there. Then do some descriptive analytics. So when you are saying descriptive analytics, you can calculate very simple things like your sales over last 12 years. You can probably create some basic visualization using Python or Tableau. You can create some dashboard, you can have some presentation, understand what is going on, what is the past data telling you. That is descriptive analytics. Once you have done that, you may have certain question that, okay, for your company, maybe the sales is going down. So you need to probably explain why it is happening. That is where diagnostic analytics will come into picture, that you want to understand why something is happening, not just what has happened. So these two broadly comes within the umbrella of analytics. In some company, they also have business intelligence to do some of this work. But this is where you should start. You should not jump into a modeling work before doing the descriptive and diagnostic. So by doing this, you understand what is the problem, what is the data, what has happened, and why it has happened. Once you have done that, then probably you want to predict what will happen in the future. Okay, I understand my sales is going down, but what will happen in the future? Will it go down in future, or will it go up? If it goes up, by what percentage? So that is where predictive modeling comes into the picture. And I'm sure Imarticus will do a lot of courses with you, or UCLA will also do. So you'll learn a lot about probably machine learning. So a lot of machine learning and deep learning applications are in the last 2 phases, that is predictive and prescriptive, where you are trying to predict what will happen in the future and then try to take an action that, okay, if my sales is going down, but I want to increase it, then what are the trigger that I can do? Should I do marketing? Should I reduce my price? Should I have a better sales team or what? So this is a broad approach you can follow in terms of your analytics journey in your career, and also in terms of a problem in your business. Any questions till now?
We just have a request to possibly zoom a little bit, if possible.
Okay, so let me see if I can do full screen. Is it any better?
I think it's much better. Thank you.
Sure. So any other question or comment? If it comes, someone or Ram, you can please let me know. I'll be happy to answer.
Sure.
Okay, so after this, I want to probably give you a couple of few examples from industry and based on my own experience as well. So which will give you an idea that in industry, what are the problems we are solving with data science, and to solve that, what kind of approaches we are taking. So of course, we'll not get into too much technical detail, but I'll probably focus more on the problem and how we can approach the problem. So coming to first use case, this may be very much applicable to any company which is in a B2C or in sometimes even a B2B scenario. So this cycle probably starts with this box for reach. So suppose you want to get a lot of sales and you want to grow your business, be it B2B or B2C. So what should be the first thing? First thing is that you should reach customer, right? But then you should know that how do you reach the customer, right? So is your customer online or are they offline? If your customer is online, your question may be, then what tools or media channels should I use? Should I run a Google ad? Should I run a Facebook ad? Or should I do something else? Should I do affiliate marketing, right? Where I pay somebody some money to promote my product or my brand, right? So that is where you want to get reach, and this is where a lot of analytics can play a very big role. Same for acquisition. So once you have reached the customer, you have to acquire the customer. That is, they're somehow probably registering on your platform, or you collect their email ID or some info about them. So kind of acquisition, but they have still not paid money, right? So for this kind of analysis, I can give some example from my personal experience. So for example, I work for Grab, which is an online e-commerce kind of platform where people come for ordering rides like Uber or for ordering food. So the platform is very similar to Kareem in Middle East, exactly same kind of platform, super app. So there we did the analysis to find out, is Google better or Facebook better? How do I find out? For that, then we can calculate something like the cost of acquisition. So if I'm acquiring one customer from Facebook, I'm probably incurring $2 in cost. But in Google, the cost is $1.5. So probably Google is better. But then we have to also analyze and do some analysis on that those customer, after spending some time on my platform, what is the conversion? As you can see the third box here, that how much money they are spending. So probably I'm spending less money on Google, but Facebook user is giving me more revenue. So then probably I have to do a different calculation. So a lot of analytics can be used in the acquisition strategy and doing the conversion analytics. Once you have converted the customer that they have bought your product or they have bought your service, you also need to retain them. If they come there and just use your product once and then leave your platform, that's not very good, right? But for many platforms, we see that after the first transaction, there is a huge drop. So many customers leave, and many customers leave over a period of time also. So how do you retain the customer? And there you have to also understand that who is worth retaining. So should you give a promo? How much that promo should be? And if you are giving the promo, which customer should you target? So when I worked for Grab, we had different countries. So we had Singapore, Indonesia, we had Malaysia, Vietnam, right? So in different country will work in a very different manner. Probably I can give a $10 discount in Singapore, but in Indonesia, maybe I should not spend more than $1. So a lot of analysis on the acquisition and retention front can be used. And these are very core analytics tasks for any marketing organization, or especially the organization where you are acquiring a lot of customers. Any questions? So the tools and methods that you will learn, for example, if you learn Python or Tableau, whatever tools you are learning, you can apply them to many of these problems to do a retention analysis, do acquisition analysis. And if you want to go to the predictive analytics that I mentioned in last slide, that you want to predict. So one example can be that for a customer, once they join, how do you predict that what should be the lifetime value of the customer? That is, when the customer comes to the platform, before they leave, how much total money they will give you. Another predictive analytics problem can be predicting churn. So for example, which customer is going to leave my platform after 1 year, after 1 month, or after 6 months. So if you can predict those things in advance, you can take certain action to stop negative behavior and to encourage positive behavior. Okay. So if there are no questions, I'll probably go to the next one. Okay, so this is another very interesting example, and I'm sure many of you have seen some example of this. So I'm sure you are probably using YouTube or Facebook or maybe some OTT platform. So I've earlier worked for Disney. Disney has one of the largest OTT platform, which is Disney Plus. Of course, Netflix, all of us know about Netflix, and YouTube also has a lot of videos on their platform. And similarly for Sony also, we have an OTT platform with more than 100 million users. And for this kind of platform, as well as for e-commerce, recommendation becomes a very important problem. So people are coming to your platform, buying certain product. So in case of Amazon, they are probably buying a phone. So after they buy a phone, what other product you can recommend to the user? So if they're buying a phone, maybe they'll buy a case, they'll buy a screen guard, they'll buy a cover, those kind of things. Similarly, for the OTT platform, like Sony has one, Disney has it, Netflix has it, or you can think of even YouTube. So people are going, watching certain videos, certain movies. Based on that, how do I understand the preference of the user? And based on that, recommend them other videos. So of course, this is not a detailed session, so I'll not be able to get into technicalities, but we can use two different main methods here. One is that when people like certain content or product, we can find other content or product which is similar. For example, say Ram likes crime movies, so in that case I can recommend him other crime movies, right? Or for example, someone else likes particular type of music, say sad song, so we can recommend other sad song. Another approach that we use, which is called collaborative filtering, which is very interesting, that I don't need to use anything about the song or the movie or the product, but I can find other user who are similar to you, right? So probably I can do my analysis and run the model and find, okay, Ram and Sam are very similar in terms of their preference or their choices. So if Ram likes certain product or certain movies, I can recommend those movies or product to Sam as well. So many different advanced kind of thing can be done here. And this is where you will need a large scale machine learning or deep learning, because you cannot do it with a Tableau or with a statistical model where an individual is selecting some rule or statistical simple thing, right? So this is another very widespread problem, and I'm happy that I'm working on one of such recommendation system for Sony. So this is also another very interesting use case for data science on the more advanced side. And of course, I think there are a lot of other use cases. Of course, we will not be able to get into all, but some other use cases are like we have seen, like things like face detection, object detection, and many of you have probably also learned about self-driving car. So those are what comes in the news, but behind self-driving car or in face detection model, behind them always some data science or machine learning model is running, that is detecting the face, that is helping the self-driving car to understand what other cars are around and help them run. So data science has a huge application across the industries. Some industries have adopted it, but it will definitely become more widespread across different industries over the next few years. Any question we have till now?
Everyone, please ask questions. If anything you would like to ask from Dr. Anshuman.
Yeah.
I think we can go ahead.
Okay, I'll proceed. Okay, so now that we understand, something about data science, we understood some of the use cases, right? So let's try to focus on then what are the different roles that are available, because I assume probably some of you are working in probably different role, or you want to switch your roles, and maybe some of you after doing this MRTCAS course want to get into a different role, right? And as Suresh and all mentioned initially, they have very good probably placement or other kind of support that can help you get some different data science opportunity that you are interested. So I'll probably just discuss briefly about some of the important roles. So there are many different roles within data science. So if you get into data science, doesn't mean you have to always become a data scientist. Data scientist is a very common role, but at the same time, to become a data scientist, it's relatively more difficult, because to become a data scientist, in the next slide probably I'll also discuss about some of the skills, but there you need to have a good foundation of mathematics and statistics, because data scientists may be expected to build some algorithm from scratch or modify existing algorithm to a large extent. So that's why math and stat is very important. Of course, programming knowledge is also important, and domain knowledge is also important. So you need to learn a lot of different things, and the problem that a data scientist normally works on are relatively more complex. So if you have to probably differentiate the examples that I have given you earlier, the recommendation system, especially if your platform has 100 million user, is a very complex problem because of the scale of the data, because of the complexity, because of no standard textbook solution, right? So that is where you will probably need a data scientist. But earlier example that I gave, for example, you want to do an analysis, okay, how many customer came from Google, how many customer came from Facebook, what is the average cost of acquisition for Google, average cost of acquisition for Facebook. So some of those work can be done by an analyst as well, right? You don't need a data scientist to do those kind of analytics work. And when I say analyst, there are two main different roles. One is business analyst. So business analyst may not be so focused on computer science or programming side of the thing, but they have very good domain knowledge. Like some of you probably have worked in your industry for a long time. So if you have very good domain knowledge, that can help become a business analyst kind of role. Of course, since you are more senior, you will probably get a higher role, which is probably a managing business analyst rather than just doing the analysis yourself. But business analysts mainly understand the problem from the business. They work together with the data analyst, gather the data, and then finally make a presentation. It can be a Tableau dashboard, it can be a PowerPoint presentation, and finally give some recommendation to the business what should be done. In case of data analyst, they may not know so much about the business, but they should be very good with databases, SQL, programming part of the thing. So whenever some problem comes, they should be able to quickly get the data from different places, do the basic analysis, and give it to a business analyst or data scientist for further analysis or building of model. Business intelligence analyst is another role that many company has and quite important. These people mainly work on different visualization tools. So they may use a Tableau, Power BI, or Click, those kind of tool. They may create different report, dashboard. So in the beginning, I mentioned that first you need to do descriptive analytics, where you are going to analyze what is my sales. Maybe let's take the example of Ematicus. Ematicus is running programs in India, Middle East, probably in different other location. So if they want to, analyze or understand how many students are coming from India, how many from Middle East, how many from different places, and if they want to track their probably attendance, their score and other things using an automated dashboard kind of thing, so that every time they want any data about a student, they don't have to go back to probably a table or database. So they can create some dashboard and report which get refreshed automatically. So Ram, Sawan, or Ulka members, or even Suresh, they want to have a quick understanding what is going on with my students, with my business, they can have a look. So that's where business intelligence comes into picture. And last, data or ML engineer. This is an emerging field, and I see this as becoming as lucrative as data scientist, because when you are building very complex model, data scientists may be good with mathematics, statistics, models, algorithm, but when the scale is too big, they may not be able to do the coding or manage such huge scale of data or implement it in production. So they may create the prototype model, but somebody may have to scale it to 100 million user. Somebody has to make sure it runs 24/7, and somebody has to make sure that it is very fast. So that is where data and ML engineer plays a very important role, that getting the data in the right format, also after the basic model is created, scaling it up and implementing in the production. Any question about the roles that we mentioned?
Dr. Ghosh, I have a question for my participants over here.
Yeah.
So basically, these are coming from different industries like banking or manufacturing and a lot of other like game development, then telecom. So what do you think? How can they, get into those industries with the help of this course? So would you like to just talk about a little, because you're coming from a great experience from yourself, and you must have met a lot of people in your life. So what do you think the people who are here from banking, manufacturing, oil and gas, and other kind of industries, what do you think? What do you say to them?
So I think there is huge opportunity and they are getting in at the right time. Because if you observe the industries that I have worked with, so I have worked with retail. Retail has been disrupted very big time. So, we are all using e-commerce, especially with the pandemic. It has become very big across the world, right? I have also worked in the media industry, and if you have observed, media is also getting disrupted in a big time. So nobody is reading newspaper, or many people are shifting to OTT platforms. Now, many other industries, like many of the ones you mentioned, they have been relatively slow in adopting the data science, machine learning, or some of the areas, and there are good reasons for that. So, for example, when I'm recommending some video to you, right? If I recommend video 1 versus 2 or product 1 versus 2 on an e-commerce website, the risk of error is low, right? But if you think about banking industry or oil and gas, a small error may mean that your oil pipeline doesn't work, or maybe you give a loan of $1 million to somebody that doesn't work. And there are regulatory frameworks also in both most of those industries you mentioned, that they will limit that if you don't give a loan to someone, you may have to explain. For oil and gas, you have to check a lot of thing regulations. But I think those things are changing. Those industries are also maturing, and they're understanding the power of data science, right? And if you see of late, there are in banking also, there are a lot of new banks coming. There's blockchain coming. All of them have a lot of data and data science behind them, right? Blockchain is what? A distributed ledger, a distributed database where you can do a lot of data science kind of thing. Even for banks, you can see there are Revolut, there are Chime, New Bank, a lot of new age banks are coming, which are disrupting traditional bank who don't have a branch, but they are giving loans to people. They are doing a lot of things, and I think traditional banks are also going to adopt. So some of the movers, maybe Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley, who have created stock trading algorithm using data science. So they don't need the traders anymore. The algorithm can do the trading for them and earn money on the go, right? And I'm sure other financial institutions, telecom provider, oil and gas, manufacturing, some of these industries has been relatively slower to change, but I think that's gonna change. We are seeing the change in telecom already. We are seeing the change in banking finance. And I'm sure in manufacturing, in oil and gas, even things like agriculture, this will change very fast because, as you and Mr. Suresh pointed out in the beginning, data science is domain agnostic. Whatever you are learning here in one industry with one model, you can apply in another industry, another model. So when you are saying, for example, that I predicted the customer will churn or not, that was an e-commerce problem, and we use something called a classification there. So simple models like logistic, random forest can be used. But the same model can be used in a banking context when you're predicting fraud. So when you're predicting the customer will do the fraud or not, or will default the loan or not, you can use the same thing. In the manufacturing context, you can use the same thing to predict whether my machine will go out of order or not, right? So most of the things that students will learn here, and I'm very happy that they join this course. I'm sure it will help them learn those things, and probably they can be the change maker, right? They do this course, they learn these technologies, tools, and they go to their business, they see there is a problem, or they can apply these tools and technologies, and they can probably bring that change in their companies. And I think this will be a very fascinating opportunity for all of them. Does that answer
Absolutely.
your question, Sound?
Yes, I think Mr. Majid would like to ask. Yes.
Yes, hello. Hello, doctor. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
You hear me, yeah? Right?
Yes.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good evening. Doctor, just I want to go back for the Google ads and Facebook ads, okay? Nowadays, we know that all social media use machine learning. They improve,
Yes.
they improve the work for ads, and they use a lot of machine learning to targeting the audience.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, consider we have real estate, okay? The real estate, he bought his campaign both Google Ads and Facebook. already the audience will come, or the lead will come from the social media. It will be equality, because they will specify that we need this product, right? Now, what's, in your opinion, what's our role as a data scientist or machine learning? How we will take the data? It's, I think, in my opinion, it's a rule of the sales. Now the play of the sales, how he can present the products that we have. So just my question, actually, now for the social media, it's already the AI there and machine learning is there. Now, what's our rule after we get the leads or get the clients? I think, maybe he will sell or not, but it's a play of the salesman. It's not play for the audience. What's your opinion for that? Or
Yeah, so
what's
that's
our
a
role? Thank
very
you.
good question, and I think many companies are missing that out. And this is what I'll go back to this slide where I mentioned about when you're acquiring the customer, but final goal is not to just get audience or views, right? You want to make money from those audience, right? So that is why it is extremely important to use data science and analytics. So I'll give one simple example, also one complex example of machine learning. The simplest example will be, you can run something called experiment design and A/B test with different group of user on Facebook and Google, right? So you probably run some ad on Facebook, spend $100, run on Google, spend $100, again run the similar ad for a different audience, maybe a different country, different age group, maybe you ran for male, you run for female. Then you get those customer and observe them for a period of time, maybe for 1 month, and see from which channel you are getting more revenue, or for which customer group. Is it male? Is it female? Is it from Saudi Arabia, or is it from Dubai, or is it from some other location? So you need to do the analytics work to understand those things, and based on that change your advertisement strategy. So that is one important thing. One more advanced thing also I will talk to you regarding machine learning, since you mentioned that you can also do an analysis of your own customer, past customer. So for example, you have probably 1 million customer, or maybe you have 100 B2B customer, and you can analyze what is the value of different customer, right? And you can find who is the most valuable customer. So you can find something I also used in one of my companies. We found what the top 1% customer, what the top 10% customer. And with some of the tools like say Facebook or Google, you can now find lookalike customer. Means I find who are my 1% customer, I put their email ID or whatever info I have, and Facebook can automatically find out lookalike. Lookalike means who are the other customers similar to you. So your top 1% customer, maybe they are giving $5,000 revenue every year for you, and you get lookalike customer instead of targeting all the user over Facebook or Google, and you get the cream of the customer. So you can control the cost and at that same time get high value customer. Does that answer your question to some extent, Mr. Majid?
Yes, doctor. Yeah. Thank you. It's actually appreciate lookalike, because also we have to make an analyst for our customers, so we can make improve and to keep the loyalty for the customer. That's it. Thank you for answer. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll probably then go to the last thing that I wanted to discuss today, which I think will very naturally follow to the course that we'll do after today's session. So then we understand, okay, these are the some use cases, these are the roles, but then what are the skills that we need? And for some of you who are very senior, you may not need to develop all the skills, but when you are hiring people, so for example, you're hiring an analytics team or data science team, what are the kind of skill they should have so that they are most productive for your work, right? So most important skills for data science or analytics work is the first three, number 1, 2, 3. Number 1 is mathematics and statistics. This is the most critical skill, and I see that is missing in most of the cases. For example, I'll give a very simple example. Suppose you ran 2 ad as I was giving in the last example, and you got 2 customer group, and you create some Tableau chart or simple visualization, and you got, for one group you got a revenue of $4 per month, another group you got a revenue of $4.1 per month. So which group is better and which group should you target? So you ran some program, promo, advertisement or anything on 2 different groups of people. For one group, your chart, very nice, colorful chart is showing $4 per month, another is showing $4.1 per month. So which group is better? Is it a very easy question or is it a difficult question? Anyone wants to answer? Sawan or Ram, you can also.
I'm sure those who are actively listening, it's easy for them. Yeah, we have a Elias with $1 answer.
He's saying whoever has more is better, right? So I said 4 and 4.1. So I said $4 and 4.1. So I ran some, promo or some campaign on 2 different groups. One group gave me revenue of $4 per month, and another group gave me on an average $4.1 per month and 4.1. So difference is low, but one is 4.1, other is 4 average revenue, correct? So Elias is saying 4.1, right? So this is something will be most obvious to us, and most of the people who will see the chart will think this, but this is completely wrong. That is why we need statistics. Moment you read statistics, you realize when you ran it for 2 different groups, they are different. But mathematically, we think 4.1 is more than 4. But when you have 2 groups of people, there is a sampling error coming into the picture. Moment you learn statistics, they will tell you that you cannot compare directly 4 and 4.1. You have to also find something like a standard deviation. So in the 4.1 group, if the standard deviation is more, then you have to use some statistical test, t-test or ANOVA, to find out which one is more, which one is less. It may come out that 4 is actually more because that has, so it's get into statistics. But without statistics, if you see a chart, all of us will conclude that 4.1 is more. And I have seen many businesses, people make those decisions and then, invest more in that 4.1 group, and then they don't see the results and they're like, oh, what happened, right? So mathematics and statistics is very important. So you may not need to know everything, but please hire someone who understands it and who can guide you in that regard. And this will be also useful. You ran a model, it doesn't work. Many data scientists who are just learning, with doing very, recently with some small courses, they just copy paste code from Google or GitHub and run it, right? But if the model doesn't work, what to do? Mathematics, statistics will be very important. Computer science, very important. You don't need to learn too many tools, but I think some knowledge of SQL is important to get the data from different places. And you can learn Python. I would recommend, in fact, Python more than R, because that is in more demand and more powerful if you want to implement the final model, right? And third is domain knowledge. I think all of you already has an advantage there because you are working in certain industry, you know your function, be it finance, be it HR, be it marketing, and your domain, that is oil and gas, telecom, banking, whatever it is. This is your strength, and I can assure you this will help you immensely even in data science, because you will know what problem to solve, you will know what data to use, what feature to use. So domain knowledge is very important, but I think all of you will have an advantage there. And in addition to this hard skills kind of thing, we also need 2 softer skill, which is communication and problem solving. Because at the end of the day, I don't see data science as just another technical field, but we want to apply it for business. If we can apply and get revenue, profit, or cost saving out of it, then only it makes sense for business. That is why problem solving attitude is extremely important. If you get someone who is very good with modeling statistics, just create some fancy model, no use for your business, doesn't solve your problem, probably that will not be very helpful, right? So people should have a problem solving attitude. And many a times the data scientists have to work with the business people, they have to work with statistician, they have to work with engineers, right? And they speak very different language. Business will talk about profit, ROI, engineer will talk about SQL, AWS, cloud, etc. Statistician will talk about p-value, t-test, all of that, right? So communicating with different stakeholders and managing them is also very important. And last but not the least, I think this field is emerging, changing very fast. So we did not use Python 10 years back. As I mentioned, we had SPSS, SAS, right? Even few years back, there were other tools. We did not use the AWS as much as we are using now. So the field is changing very fast. I'm sure this course will help you a lot in learning the core skill and give you a great platform, right? Both Imartigas and UCLA. But beyond that, if you want to remain in the field and want to grow, I suggest continuous learning is extremely important. Please learn whatever this course is providing. But after that, if you see new tool is coming up, new technologies coming up, you should continuously learn and upgrade yourself. So that's from me. If there are any more questions, I can take that. Otherwise, I wish you all the very best for the course and beyond that for a great professional and personal life. And if you want, I think I've given my detail on LinkedIn or Twitter. In case you have more question or you want to just follow, I share a lot of content on data science. Do feel free to follow or connect. Any questions?
Doctor, thank you. Thank you so much. Just I have one question, last question about the database SQL or SQL. Okay. Now, what's the, maybe we will build model very accurate, very good, but the result will be not accurate because the data itself. There is no, before the first or the initial process will be the clean the data. Maybe I don't have the clean data. So that time should be use some statistics, standard deviation, correlation, chi-square correlation or something, because I wanted to detect with which the field is correct to use or not. This is, I think, just I want to talk about the data mining. What's the rule of the data mining here?
So very good question, and this is an excellent question, I must tell you, because maybe I mentioned, I'll repeat again. So there can be no data science without good data, right? It will be garbage in, garbage out. You may learn all the courses from Imarticus, UCLA, other people. If your data quality is not good, or if you don't have data, you cannot apply anything, or if you apply, your results won't be good. So very good question. And that is where, first of all, SQL is important, because you can collate data from different places. Many data processing, or what we call ETL kind of thing, you can also do. And in practical business application, right, I have seen that 70-80% of the time goes into collecting the data, understanding the problem, creating the feature, cleaning the data. That's many a time very painful and manual process, but it is very important and we must do it. I'll give you probably few pointers which will probably help you. As you said, some statistics can definitely be helpful. Few examples, one can be, for example, missing value. So you don't have the data for certain field. What should you do? Should you delete the row? Should you delete the column? Should you impute the value with average, right? Probably in the course you will learn more about it, but treating the missing value is very important. Second thing that you should look in the data is outlier, right? So probably you're calculating sales, and for every customer, the sales number are like $5, $10 like that. But there is one outlier. By mistake, somebody has put one number as 1 billion, right? That is probably a mistake. But if you add that and calculate average revenue of the customer, maybe it will come as 1 million, and you will be like, oh, my revenue was $5 and now it has become 1 million. So you need to analyze outlier, right? Many a times you may have to drop the outlier. Sometimes we also do a capping, right? So if the data value is more than 99% or 95%, that's where what you mentioned, statistics comes very handy to calculate the percentage and cap the data. So for outlier collection, you can do that. Sometimes when the data values are varying a lot, some models will not work very well, right? That is where you do something like a normalization. Of course, this is an introductory course, so I won't be able to get into a lot of it, but that's why I mentioned mathematics and statistics is core of it. Without that, if you take some garbage data and put into a fancy model, you'll get garbage out. So your question is very valid, and we must do it, get the right data, understand the problem, clean the data, and there are a lot of techniques. I'm sure Imarticus, UCLA, they will teach you a lot of it in more detail, but that's a very important point, and unless you get very good quality clean data, you should not jump into running models. Does that answer your question, Mr. Majid?
Sure, doctor. Thank you so much. Sure, sure. Thank you.
Great. Anybody else would like to ask anything? All right. I think apologize to all the participants. I know it's weekend has already started in the Middle East and we are over time now. So, Doctor, thank you so much once again. Lovely having you over here. And also you said one of the best things is a lot of people think about, what it needs to become a data scientist or getting into this field. And I'm sure like a lot of attributes these people are already having.
Yeah.
They are problem solvers for sure. They are looking for continuous learning and, they have domain knowledge as well.
Absolutely.
So the rest of the things will do the job over here in this course. And great. Doctor, once again, I would like to thank you for your presence and wish you all the best for your future endeavors as well.
Thank
Great.
you. Thank you. All the best to all the participants, Imaticus and UCLA for the course and beyond. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. All right, we have, I know it's 9:20 already, but something is required, which is Mr. Ram is going to now come back and he's going to give a short, quick wrap on how the LMS of Imaticus works. So just another quick minutes and we will try to complete this as soon as possible. So Mr. Ram, please take over from here with the LMS. I would request Dr. Anshuman to stop sharing. Maybe that will help. All right, I can do the job. For you. Yes, I've done it. No problem. Mr. Ram, are you there or have you left for the weekend already? We can't hear you. Mr. Ram, once again, are you there? Okay, never mind. So we have a backup, no problem. And that's me. So let me take you through the LMS access right now, okay, which is by Imaticus Learning. So let me share my screen first of all. And yes, we have it over here. I hope everybody can see my screen.
Yeah.
Can someone say a yes?
Yes.
Great. All right, wonderful. So I believe all of you have already received the LMS access, which is for Imaticus. Once you received it, you would have to put up your user ID, which is your email ID.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Ram, you're here, right? All right, you can take over.
Well, I believe that I am audible enough, and then I'm just taking it ahead.
Yes,
so
Ram.
thanks, Savan. Let me just share my screen.
That's me.
So this is going to be the LMS portal, which I'm about to explain you. There are few preset requisites which I want you people to have it, and that is going to be the Zoom application. Please keep this, the application ready with you, download it so that all your sessions are going to come down on a Zoom platform wherein we will be having a live recording and an interactive session. And let's come back to the portal part of it. And the portal is Imaticus LMS. So the portal looks like this, wherein you are going to enter your login credentials. That would be your registered email ID over here with a password, which would be mentioned, and it is already been sent across on an email to you. Once you log in, the portal looks like this, and you will be having two variants over here. So before that, I'll just take you, here would be your name. I have just taken the help of Mr. Savan. Here would be your name, followed by two options over here. That's your profile, followed by the completed module category, how much modules you have completed, and the logout button option. Coming to the next part is that when you just scroll down a bit, you can find two options over here. One is a micro certification and followed by postgraduate program in analytics. You have to get on into this postgraduate program in analytics. So here you can find a tile which is saying that postgraduate program in data science and artificial intelligence. So click on this and it will take you to your very first module. So the module will be expressed over here, and it is being mentioned across as in what is the module and subjects are being there. I mean, in one is given over here. You just click on this and it will take you through all the categories. So these are the different sub chapters which is going to be there. It is going to be self-explanatory and quite a area. It will be being explained by our very eminent trainer, Mr. Chenmai. And if you just enter onto this, I'll just take you for a quick walk. So you can just go onto full screen and then see onto it. So this is how the module looks like, and it will be explaining with the entire PowerPoint presentation onto it. It is going to be introduction to Python, some common language in use, and you have language histories, and then you have history of Python. All these things will be explained. In addition to this, the trainer will also going to assist you in terms of downloading the application software onto it based on your system softwares. Like for example, few of you would have been using Windows, while few of you are using Mac operating systems. Few of them are into Linux. So depending upon the kind of the software, platform which you are using, they are going to help you out to download the Python application so that you will be able to practically do compile and run certain programs live in the sessions. So similarly, these programs will be into this program to be there. We will be keeping, we will keep, you can study one by one. So to start with, your first module will be Python. That's Python programming, which is a prep model. And this is going to commence on 17th at 5 p.m. UAE timing. So any questions you have so far? Hello?
I think Ram, all is well.
You can
Thank you so
chat
much for the
onto
demo.
the video because the video has been stuck. So
Yes, Ram, all is well. Thank you so much for the demo. Well, I'm sure if they have any question, please everyone take a note. Mr. Ram has been
any
sending messages to
questions?
you. Ram, all is well once again. So Mr. Ram is
All right.
sending you
I
WhatsApp
believe there
messages.
is no questions as such.
Right. So Mr. Ram is sending you WhatsApp messages as well as email ID, emails on your IDs as well. So in case you haven't received it, I would request you to immediately get back to me or Mr. Ram again, because he would be sending you all the reminders for the Ematicus classes. And Mr. Sam will also get back to you once
In
again.
case you have anything,
By the end of this month, even Mr. Sam will get back to you. One more thing is that yes, please download the Zoom application if you haven't yet, and keep on going through LMS. You already have all the access to the modules which are there. And at the same time, you need anything, you can come back to me, you can come back to Ram, and I'm sure that there's not going to be any issues over here. But still, I believe you guys are all intelligent, and at the same time, you know what is the procedure. You must have, all of you are senior people over
yes,
here.
Raj,
So
Shekhar.
yes. Uh, Now, we have a question over here from Mr. Rajshekhar. Do we get an email for the Zoom meeting for every class? Yes, Mr. Rajshekhar, you would be getting all the information. Mr. Ram will be sending you the reminders on the through emails, and basically he will be, there will be like, we will let you know, I mean, before the classes or one day before it. One thing I want to make a very heavy note is, as Mr. Samuel recommended, that you guys should be informing the UCLA professors in advance in case you're not going to attend the classes, because in that case they will be able to make a recording for you. And with the UCLA, we have a slight we have a slight understanding over here. I mean, the understanding between you and the professors. With the Mathematicus, we are anyway recording all the classes. Those who need the recording of this session also, you can let us know through WhatsApp or email. And at the end of the day, I would like to once again delightfully, like, this is a great opportunity for all of us, and I'm sure that you guys will have a great time. I don't want to take any other minute, because we are already up and it's weekend already. So, but we have a question over here regarding LMS UCLA. You will provide by email. Yes, Mr. Samuel, he will be basically getting in contact with you. Keep an eye on your emails, please. Keep an eye on your emails specifically, because in case if you're receiving emails and all from Mr. Samuel, maybe it will land up in spam, because it's the first time he might be sending an email to you people. So yes, please, and also anytime get back to me on the WhatsApp or email, get back to Ram. So yes, we are all here for you. Once again, thank you so much. If there is, now we will just open a 1 minute to 2 minutes of question answers. If there's anything you would like to ask, or you want to say hi, hello to each other as well, this is a great opportunity. And Mr. Dennis, as he advised, please keep your videos on if it is possible for you, because your facial expressions will help the trainers observing you, that whether you're understanding or not, and it will help you eventually better. So yes, Mr. Rajshekhar is smiling, yes. All right, great. So if there's anything you would like to say, please go on, or just say hi. I would love if someone says hi, hello to each other, and make some networking over here. So yes, thank you so much once again. Question answers round is here. After 2 minutes, we'll close it. So please. Great, we are receiving thank you from Hani and Majid, and then best wishes. If you want to unmute yourself also, please do it. Please feel free to unmute yourself and say something right now, any one of you. I would like to now, take out names over here. Hadil, Abu Bakr, Majid, Rajshekhar, Hani, Sasan, anything you would like to say, Elias?
Thank you, everyone. It was a great pleasure to meet my friends and also the professors, I guess. Thanks a lot. It's new challenging that I believe it's going to be exciting. Thank you.
Great. As expected, Ms. Hadil spoke up. Anybody else? Febi, what about you? Mr. Mahmudur?
This is Rajshekhar. I'd like to say something, or I'd like to ask something. Like we have hardly 15 to 16 members in this group, right? So I would request each and everyone, if at all they have any doubts in terms of programming, or if anyone is stuck, does the platform, the Imaticus platform, has anything to share their codes with? Mr. Savan, can you help me on this?
Sorry, I didn't get your question, the last part.
Like, say, for example, if we are doing some project or something, and if we are stuck in between, and we all are friends in this group, especially, and each and everyone can help each other person if at all anyone is stuck in between.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
yeah,
I got it. So, Mr. Rajshekar, there is no limit to learning and sharing, as well as, you know, helping each other, assisting each other. So, I mean,
but is there any platform like the LMS login in Ematicus or anything else where we can share our queries? I mean, I've seen some buzz post in your LMS portal. Can we share our queries in that?
well, as stated earlier, if there is anything on that note, the best thing is you guys should always come through emails. You know, let's say you get in touch with your professors, and you know you have any doubt, you can always just take screenshots and send emails to your professors, and even to your batchmates, to other people around you, to me or to Mr. Ram. So you know it would be like a very written format email, and you know everybody would be able to see it and all that. So yes, I mean, if you have any question related to Ematicus course or the modules or anything, I would definitely give you a thumbs up, you know, and full confidence, you know, that okay, go ahead with the emails, write anything to anyone, and you know, get your queries resolved. Rest,
Yeah,
you guys, yeah.
would you encourage us in forming a WhatsApp group so that everyone can participate in that?
No problem. Actually, what we do is we have already created a group. We have already created a group on the email. If you would see that there is an email which, when it comes to you, it says that this is the PGPDSAI and AI batch. So that already, see, we believe more into the formal communication, to be honest with you. So that is why we have created an email a batch of all of your email IDs. Okay. So in any case, you have anything to say, you can always reply on that email, which will be received by everyone in this group. All right. So in that case, if that answers your question, that will be good. Otherwise, we'll try to find out more during this course once we start, and anything, if any issue comes up in between, we'll definitely work on it. Are we going to use GitHub, especially in UCLA courses? So basically, GitHub is the end, you know, of this course, where we are going to help you with how to upload the, you know, the how to upload the portfolio of your projects on these platforms. So UCLA is not going to touch much, to be honest with you, on that part. But yes, you will have projects with them at least. You will have the capstone project and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's going to be very interesting and exciting at the same time.
Mr. Sawan,
Yes.
I'm sorry, just if we can, I guess, yani, for WhatsApp, if we can make some group between all colleague and you and Mr. Ram, it will be appreciated, yani, better for us. This is the first question. The other question regarding the LMS for us here, Emeritus, Microsoft micro certification. The first one is have Excel and Python programming certificate. This one we need to go through, or right away go to postgraduate analytics, because we found it there.
Sawan, may I pick this call?
Definitely.
Right. So, Mohammed, basically, you are looking on to the postgraduate program in analytics. You will get into that, and you will have a your session, which is going to start tomorrow, will be only through that. So, always your point of contact will be me in terms of your LMS requisites and any communications pertaining to the schedule and other details. I've left my coordinates on the chat box. You can please save it, and you people will be getting the WhatsApp information pertaining to that. A broadcast group is already been created, and it will already be all the informations, necessary inputs will be circulated through that, apart from the official email.
And no issues if there is a requirement. All of you are here already, so I mean, nobody has given a no to forming a WhatsApp group. So even if it is that required, we will do it in the next couple of days. We have Mr. Mahmudur who has his hand up. Would you like to speak something, Mr. Mahmudur? I think he is not aware.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Rahman.
Yes, how are you?
All good, sir. Thank you.
Thanks so much. So we come to this point, or start of beginning. So what now we are going through this LMS you're providing us now more reading materials, watching materials, but less to practice. It's too much now. This courses will be 5 hours, then reading these materials, and then when you practice, this is my point, because this all this LMS is small. There is workout is there, so we cannot follow through. Just go through by eyes and leave it. Then we wait for that. Don't know which time to try, practice.
Excellent, straightforward question, sir.
And there is
yes.
another point. Another point is this: if you want to download or take some picture, there's a snapshot. This is a security reason. You cannot make this one save in your system. So if you cannot save the system, then how you can get this materials when you need?
Right. So this material is going to be, first of all, available to you throughout this whole course, at least for 1 year. Okay. So definitely you have a lot of time to go through it. Second, see, for practicing, definitely you would need libraries. And
sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Yes, assign in libraries. So mention some books or PDF. Keeping with us, because this will
absolutely
help us.
Mr. Rahman, our trainer Mr. Chinmay, from starting from tomorrow, I mean, he's going to guide you on everything like that, right? So in case you will have questions during this session, whether which books to download or how to get on the Google or research more about it, you have all the rights to ask Mr. Chinmay, the professor, because he's going to take step by step. Eventually, when you learn something from Mr. Chinmay, you're going to fall back on the reference notes which are mentioned in the LMS, that is the Python programming module. Already you have Excel and you have the other Python programming, which is not required anymore. It was just for engagement purposes. I make it very clear over here. What you are supposed to go through is, now when you receive this PGA, I believe you have already received it, click on it, get to the Python programming module and follow that particularly from now onwards. Whatever the practice that trainer will do in the class with you, that is good. And then he will also guide you how you can practice at home in your free time. And you will have a week time to do that for sure. So, I mean, Friday, Saturday, I know it's a 5-hour session. I know. Okay. But at the same time, you will have a little bit of break in between also. Okay, but this was important because this is a flow which you need. You need to learn the NumPy, pandas, and the lambda functions and a data visualization of the Python. So this was necessary. That's why it's 5 hours, and you will have a great time ahead with the UCLA. Then you have only once a week class, and then the rest of the time you need to do some self-study. So yes, the classes are in the way. You have Friday, Saturday classes, and then full week you have whole time to work on it. And you can take all the necessary help from the professor through emails or in the classroom to ask him how to do that. All right. Rest, when you are going to start from tomorrow onwards, things I'm sure about it will be very clear, Mr. Rahman, how to work on it. And your batchmates are also going to help you a lot on that. Right. So anything else from anybody? Guys, please.
Just to add on to. Sorry to cut you, Savan. Just to add on to what Savan had said, since these sessions are recorded in nature, you can recollect what and all you have learned in that particular session by repeating onto it by playing time and again.
Great. And also, I would, as Ram has mentioned his number over here, the WhatsApp number that he has, please save it in your phones, so that you can directly receive, because some of the broadcast messages might not be received by you because if you haven't saved his number. Great. Guys, anything else? I would love to entertain your questions. No problem how hard or easy it is. Please ask.
Well, Mr. Savan, one last request from my side. Just think on the WhatsApp group for all the students who are there in this particular batch. That would be really helpful, and maybe you yourself and Mr. Ram can be an admin and to monitor the different things, right?
Great. Do you want to be also the admin?
Yeah, it is okay, but forming a WhatsApp group with all the students is prime necessary for this. Like,
No problem.
Yep.
Anybody else would like to say anything? Mr. Abu Bakr, we haven't heard anything from you. Anything you would like to say? Even Mr. Sassan. All good. Great. I think we can end over here now. Great to have you all once again. Like, really proud of you guys. And yes, I mean, it's a long journey. So stay connected. And I'm already there. Ram is also there. If you need any help, please get back to us. So let's end it today. And tomorrow, please set your reminders. Please, make yourself also very, reminding yourself about the classes and all that stuff. And please make a note of UAE time, because a lot of people from GCC region. So make sure that you are aligned, especially Mr. Abu Bakr, who's from Nigeria. So, please take care of that as well. Set your reminders as per the UAE time. Make sure that you are reading the emails that we are sending to you, because the communication that we are doing with you is very important as well. So we have a message, happy learning, friends. That's great. That's a great message. Yes, happy learning once again to every one of you, and good night.
Thank you,
Good night
Doctor.
and all the best,
Thanks,
everyone.
Avan. Thank you. Bye-bye. Good night.